Hi guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I'm gonna do my July reading wrap up with all the books I read in July. I actually read 17 books in July, so it was really good month. So first off, let's get some things out of the way. These 3 books here plus one more called Chasing Summer I read for my Gotta Things for Summer reading challenge. I am questioning my choice to talk about all of them in a separate video when the whole challenge is done, but I decided that from my last wrap up, so we are just rolling with it. I will therefore not talk about these books in this video, as I just said, and they will be in my wrap up for the challenge video. These 4 books here I finished in the Booktubeathon in the month of July, and the rest of my Booktubeathon books I finished in August, so they will be in my August wrap up. I have already talked about these in my Booktubeathon wrap-up, so I won't talk about them again, but I am showing you these, and if you're interested to hear my thoughts about these, I recommend you watch my Booktubeathon wrap-up. Now, let's go into the books that I actually am gonna talk about in this video that I just read, because I read, because I like to. This year I have focused on finishing up series, and I'm really happy to say that I finished 2 series this month, so that is great. First we have the Summer I Turned Pretty series by Jenny Han. I read It's Not Summer Without You and We Will Always Have Summer, which is book 2 and book 3 in the series. I read book 1 last year for Booktubeathon actually. I felt like it was time to continue this series because I wanted to read to all the boys I loved before, but I felt like I had finished these up before, and I did, so that's great. These are just so simple, nice books. I read both of these in one day. Not actually right after one another, but I read them both in one day, and they're just so simple and easy to get through. This story follows Isabel, who has basically been in love with one of these 2 brothers, but she also gets feeling for the other brother, and it's basically about her choosing between the brothers and also dealing with a lot of other things like losing someone close to you and family and college, so that's all really interesting. I really enjoyed this series, even though it didn't exactly blow my mind and it was really annoying sometimes, and the last book was really weird. It had a weird plot in general and I was not on board with it, but it was sort of hilarious, so it was fine. Overall, I think I gave all of the books in the whole series 3 stars. I liked it, and I recommend if you want something easy and cute and just relaxed with these books. I have no idea which order these books are lying in anymore, so I'm just rolling with it. The next book / manga I read was Bungo Stray Dogs Volume 6. I'm actually a bit behind in this series now because I also have Volume 7, which I have not read yet, but this is one of my favorite series. I have talked about it a lot and I will talk about it again. This series follows this armed detective which basically solves cases, and they all has different abilities, and it is great. It is full of humor. Every character in the story with abilities is inspired by a real life author, so it's really interesting and cool, and the manga is great and anime is great, and I absolutely loved it. I recommend it if you want mystery but also action and comedy, and it's just great. The reason I always forget to say, the story is done by Kafka Asagiri, art is done by Sango Aokuba. I then read Mitosis by Brandon Sanderson, which is a short novella set in the Reckoners series. For Booktubeathon, I read the second book in the Reckoner series. This is like the story in between, and I had it for quite a while, and I always knew I wanted to read this before reading the second book because it is in between. It was really short, but it was full of action, and it made me really go into the world and the characters again after being away for a really long time. So I felt like it made me much more prepared to read the second book in the series, since it's been over 2 years since I read the first one. So that was a really good choice by me. Since it is only a novella, not a lot of development happened, and you can question the need for this story, like since it wasn't really important for the plot overall, but at the same time when you read the second book it sort of makes a bit more sense, because just another fight if you want it. It's not like if you haven't read it you miss anything. In my opinion, reading anything by Brandon Sanderson is worth it, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I then read Sorgenfri by Jon Jesper. English title is Nemesis, but it is originally in Norwegian, so I'm reading them in Norwegian. This is the 4th book in the Harry Hole series. For the next month, for the God of Thing for Summer Challenge, I am reading the 5th book because this didn't fit the criteria, so I obviously had to read this before, so this is also preparation for the next month. I actually was surprised by the 3rd book in this series, how much I enjoyed that, but this sort of missed the spike I liked in the last one. It was totally okay, but it was a bit like meh. I'm not the biggest fan of crime novels, and it's fine. I like Harry well enough as a main character, and it is okay. Jon Jesper's writing doesn't like go that well with me, but I am surviving, and I give this 2 out of 5 stars because I didn't love it and I was sort of bored, so it's okay. But getting through the series still. We then have The Girl from the Other Side by Naga B. This is the 4th volume in the series. I had this for such a long time and I haven't read it until now, so boo for me. This story is basically set in this world where it is the outside and the inside. On the outside there are these creatures running around bearing a plague. People have gone on the inside to protect themselves from this plague, which is really dangerous to them because you can get the plague by just touching one of the creatures. We have this little girl named Shiva who has been living with one of these creatures for a long time, and we tried throughout the series to find out what really happened to her aunt, to find out what really happened with this plague. And there is this nice magic, nice really dark story here, and it's really good. The atmosphere is great, the art is beautiful, and the story just keeps giving and giving, and I'm so curious to what would happen. I'm really enjoying the story so far. For the second series that I finished this month, we have The 5th Wave by Rick Yancey. I read the 2nd book, The Infinite Sea, and the 3rd book, The Lost Star. The 1st book is The 5th Wave, and I also read that in 2016 or 2015, the year the movie came out. I read it to prepare myself for the movie, and I never continued the series. And when I read these, I remembered why. I wasn't the biggest fan of the 1st book. It was totally okay. I mean, I sort of liked it. It had some redeeming qualities. This one, nothing happened. I mean, this whole book just not exist, and it would not have made any difference. And then we have this one, and I mean, we got a conclusion and it was fine, but this reminds me of some of the books that have this really great idea to begin with. They have this really great book idea, and the 1st book really sets up that story, but then they really don't know where to continue that story. I feel like he didn't know how to end the series, and now I just feel really judgmental and mean, but that's just the impression I got from reading these. Like the whole solution to the problem, and it's about aliens invading. Did I say that? It's about aliens invading, and they ruin humanity through these waves. We question throughout the book why they did that and what was the point, and like they are trying to survive, and I still am not sure why. It's just, I mean, I know why, but it was stupid, okay? It was stupid. I don't remember what I rated these. I think I rated this 2 stars and this 2 stars. I have a hard time rating things 1 stars, and I think these are enough to be rated 1 stars. I think they're okay with 2 stars, but they were close to 1 star. At least this one. I guess in the end I didn't care about the characters anymore, which made this hard to care about, but I finished the series. I am done with it. I can forget about them and I can move on, which is great. And the last book we are going to talk about today is Happiness by Shuzo Oshimi. This is the 7th volume in this series. This whole series is about vampires, and I have talked about this also a lot before as I have been reading through these volumes, and I am enjoying this series. This ended in a cliffhanger as did the last one, and I'm reading this so quickly because it is so little text and so much just images, which is fine, but I need more. I don't know really how I felt, how the story went. I felt like it really took a big step. In the beginning I didn't like it, but it's sort of interesting, but it was a bit like, I can't explain it without spoiling it, but I am enjoying it. I just still questioning that big thing that happened, which we are still in effect here, and I'm just like, I did not expect it, and I don't know how I feel about it. The art is stunning. It's so great, and the story, as I said, I'm a bit unsure how to feel about, but I am rolling with it and definitely gonna continue this to the end. Recommend this if you want something really dark. Some of these mangas are packed in plastic, which means that they have mature elements in them, so if you are triggered with blood and things like that, don't read this. That was all the book I read in July. I read so many books, like 17 books. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and leave a comment down below of which books you have read recently or in July, and you will see me soon in a new video. Bye.